All right, there we go, back in action. Hi, aloha, shalom. I trust everyone is having a magical Sunday. I just got back from the creek with my boy, little swimming. Fall is definitely here. The fall equinox has been super powerful so far, and I see that everyone has been experiencing the same. It's always powerful, those transitions, you know. We're always changing, and when these great transitions are happening in nature, it's just those changes become so obvious, and the death to the rebirth becomes so evident. And we can really feel it in the fabric of our beingness. So I just wanted to do a little reading for Sukkot. Tonight is the first night of Sukkot, and this is the third of the 4 high holy days that I've been talking about. There are videos about it on my YouTube channel if you search Rebecca Magic. These 4 high holy days have always been the most powerful holidays for the Jewish people, but this year is particularly powerful in my belief. And also, it is my belief that these holidays, these high holy days, are not just for Jewish people, but they're for everyone and anyone. The chosen people are the ones who choose to be. There is no other, there's only one. And so if you choose, you're chosen, right? So we had Rosh Hashanah, the New Year, which was also the Egyptian New Year, and also the 999 portal Virgo new moon. We set our new intentions, and then 10 days after that came Yom Kippur, when it was time to purify and cleanse our vessel so that we could receive the light codes or blueprints or information that we need in order to rebuild a better us and a better us as one. And that's where we're at right now. Brings us to Sukkot, the rebuilding of the structure of the foundation of our society, moving from egoism into altruism. We're creating the structure based upon this idea that it's time to move out of egoism and into altruism once and for all. So if anybody's interested in looking more into that holiday and what kind of rituals you can do, or even to get inspiration to create your own, you can look up the name Sukkot, Sukkot. There's also information about this on my YouTube channel. If you check it out, it's about the 3rd or 4th video in. Alright, so in honor of Sukkot and the rebuilding of our society based in altruism, I'm doing this live collective reading. So go ahead and put any of your intentions into the deck now for rebuilding this new earth. What are some visions that you have for this new earth? What are some of the feelings you have about it? Feel it, see it, and then send it right in. Now, before I pull, I just want to say one thing, that in order to begin rebuilding, we want to be in a state of the most pure energy. We want to be in a state of embodiment of the highest virtues. In this way, and only in this way, can we be in our fullest power, in our fullest presence, to be able to use all of that energy to build the new in the light of creator source energy. The only way we can rebuild this structure of our society, the way in which we can build it most efficiently, most powerfully, in reflection of the Most High, right, on earth as it is in heaven. The only way we can do this is if each of us as builders are a reflection of this temple that we're looking to build, right? We have to be that in our hearts so that we can fully manifest that. If we're not fully maintaining that vibration, then we can't manifest a creation or a temple or a structure that is in reflection of this vibration. This is, this is elementary science, okay? If we are not embodying that frequency, we cannot create manifestations of the same frequency. So it's really important, in fact, necessary, that we maintain that frequency in order to be able to build something in reflection of it. But if our vessels are full of guilt and shame and fear and whatever else, then the vessel's full and there's no space for the light to enter. There's no space for that frequency to enter. So we have prepared ourselves during Yom Kippur, and now it's time to build. Okay, it's like this. It's like your mind is a garden. There can either be beautiful flowers and fruits and vegetables like Eden, or it can be full of weeds and poisons. And when the sun shines on that garden, and the sun symbolizing source energy, power, when the sun shines on that garden, it makes everything grow. So it can make the flowers grow, and the fruits and vegetables grow, the healing medicine grow, or it can make the weeds grow. It can make the poisons grow. So before we welcome in that sun, before we call in that power, it's necessary to weed out the garden. And so it is with the mind, and so it is with the body, and all of the bodies, physical, spiritual, emotional, and like I said, the mind, mental, all of the bodies. We need to weed out the garden and make sure that we plant only seeds that we really want to see grow and be nourished for the highest good of the one. So what wants to be shown right now as we rebuild the foundation of our society? We cleared the foundation that was built upon egoism, and now we're building one that's based in altruism. What wants to be shown as we as builders begin this holy process, this holy rebuilding of the temple? Alright, so I pulled some cards a little bit different than usual. Alright, interesting. Okay, where we're at right now is the Eight of Swords. And again, this is collective, so it's you, it's me, it's all of us as one. The Eight of Swords is all about approaching an ending and a new beginning in a way of thinking. Swords is the mind. And everything really comes from the mind, so it's really important to start there. So 9, which comes after the 8, is the ending, and then the 10 is the ending and the potential of the new beginning. So we're right before the ending here. How do we get to the 9? We have to set ourselves free. We're being held hostage by our own thoughts. Only we can set ourselves free. So it's time to once and for all know that we have the power to do this, and to reach our arm out of those loose bandages, grab any of these swords that are available to us all around us, and set ourselves free. It's time to set ourselves free of a mental program. And another thing that comes through with this is that it's really important to know it's not everybody's going to be ready for that. Not everybody's going to be ready. Something that can help each one of us to find the motivation and inspiration to do it is to know that not everybody's going to be ready. And perhaps we need to serve as the inspiration for others to be ready. If we do it, we make a huge difference. Everything the individual does ripples out to the collective. This is law. So it's like our duty to do this for one and all. Whoever has that feeling inside, even if it's a small little feeling or a small little voice saying, it's up to you. You must follow that, not just for yourself, but for yourself, of which we're all a part. It's time that whoever's hearing that voice, however small, if you're hearing it, it's time to heed the call, and it's time to set yourself free, and know that you're not just setting yourself free, you're setting all of us free. So let's end the old way of thinking once and for all. Let's really empower ourselves by knowing that it really is up to us. We are the ones we've been waiting for, and the time is now. Okay. A challenge that we're going to be experiencing. And this one came up in the last reading I did as well. And this is the Three of Pentacles. And it's the card of work, but teamwork. It's the card of working together with others who specifically are as conscientious as you are. Because working with anyone else who's not exactly on the same page, who doesn't have intentions that are aligned completely with yours, or working with others who are just lazy or just not as motivated as you are, it's going to be a hindrance, it's going to be a distraction, and it's going to get in the way. So we need to find the others who are there, who are showing up, who have done the work and the preparation to purify and cleanse the vessel to be able to receive divine guidance to move on to building this temple. Who is ready? You know who. You can see it in their eyes, in their aura. You can feel it in their aura, in their presence. Whosoever is as ready as you are, it's time to link up with those beings and really begin to build now. This is going to be a bit of a challenge for us right now, for some of us more than others, but it's time to really understand that within that challenge lies the gift. The sooner we can recognize when it's happening, like, okay, I see what's happening here. I'm being challenged to really move away from working together with certain people and taking that energy back to be able to cooperate with those who are actually showing up. The more we can detach from our emotions that keep us attached to certain people that are no good for us, or certain people that are not aligned with the manifestation of our goal, the more we can take our energy back and go to those people, be guided to those people who are really going to work together with us to make a difference for the one. It's not about clinging to your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or clinging to those people who, it feels good to just sit around and sin with, to sit around and just do bullshit with. I'm not saying you're a sinner because all you do is sit around and do drugs or whatever, whatever it is. It's more than just a sin. It's literally a distraction. It's a waste of time. Like, sure, you can sit there and do that over and over, but it's not going to get you anywhere. So it's really about detaching from those people or those things that are just getting in the way and keeping us stuck. Really letting them go and understanding it's time to use that energy to be guided to those who we can work as a team with to do real big things that are going to help this planet. We are in need of this right now. The planet and all of the universal energies are calling upon us to get up and finally make a move. So it's a challenge and a gift right now to move through this process. And something to remember is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is the Earth of Fire. It's a messenger of spirit, a new beginning in spirituality. It's important to remember that we are this. As we move ahead and we move through this challenge of really letting go of certain people and things and moving toward those people and things that are going to be efficient in the manifestation of the rebuilding of this temple, as we do that, we want to remember this. We want to remember the Page of Wands, that we are that Page of Wands. We are the messengers of spirit. There is a new beginning here, and we are the ones that are going to bring it in. It can be your passion. It can be your driving passion. It can be the thing that helps you let go of certain people or things that are not serving you when you remember, I'm so much bigger than this. I have a purpose. I have a message to bring. And man, that feels good. Wow. Okay. I feel how powerful I am in this moment and how necessary it is for me to bring this message to earth right now, for me to be this messenger of spirit. And that responsibility is super motivating to me, to be able to let go of those people and things that don't serve me. It's motivating me to want to move closer to those people who understand this, the other messengers of this new beginning, the other messengers of this spiritual calling. That feels good. And then at the foundation, we have the Six of Cups. So this is the card of really saying, what is the foundation of this entire situation we're experiencing right now? Why are we here? What is this all for? The Six of Cups. Cups is water, emotions. So first of all, it's about the heart. Developing the heart, the emotions, which are the guidance system on this planet for these bodies. And it's about giving and receiving. Giving and receiving from the heart. And that's really all this is. It's a reality of polarity that we are in. And it's up to us to learn how to be receivers and transmitters of this heart energy or this source energy, love, the essence of our being. How can we consciously, with our fullest presence, give and receive from a place of purity, which is represented by the children and the white flowers? And it's a boy and a girl, so it further represents that duality and the exchange going on here, the balance going on here. So everything we're doing right now is to get back to that feeling of innocence, the return to innocence. Who remembers that song? Listen to it now. It's a good one. Enigma, Return to Innocence. You're all going, oh yeah, I loved that song. I used to love that song. That's what we're doing. That's what this whole situation is about right now. That's what these 4 high holy days are about. That's what this whole cleansing is about. It's not just like, oh, be good and be innocent. Like, no, what really is that? To be innocent, to cleanse, to purify, is to really empty our vessels to allow more light and to reflect that divine source energy. It's really a science. It is the sustainable science of our nature. Going back to the beginning. In the end or beginning time prophecies, it is said that we're completing a cycle. And what is it going to look like upon completion? Back to the Garden of Eden, right? And of course, we can look at this as symbolic, but we can also look at it as very realistic and very logical. We're returning to innocence. And it's not a big deal like it was even just 10 years ago, where people are, making fun of, religious peoples and saying, wow, look how fanatical they are. And, perhaps there is a lot of that still. But there's also a lot of truth to it. Why do you think these religions have been preaching certain things like purity or, not watching television, for example, for hundreds of years? Because these things pull us out of our purity and distract us from the self. So it's really time to look to these religions and to look to all these people who have been practicing these traditions for years and extract and discern the truth and embody that. This is also the card of nostalgia. And when I'm talking about nostalgia here, I'm talking about way back, going back to the beginning. Lemuria. The stars. Really remembering our roots, not just our childhood in this life, but what does the beginning of this life and this incarnation represent? What does our childhood in this life represent? It represents the beginning of time. Because life is a circle, the circle of life, and it spirals out, ever expanding, infinitely, for eternity. Therefore, each beginning represents the original beginning, and each middle represents that original middle. And each end represents that end, only to go on to a new beginning in reflection of the original beginning. It's ever spiraling outward, but it's all a reflection. This is why when you guys open up your time hop, it's like all of a sudden you're doing something today that you did exactly 1 year ago, or exactly 5 years ago, maybe even 10, 15. And this is why the temple, the first temple, Solomon's temple, was destroyed on the same day. Years later, the second temple was destroyed. Everything in alignment. So while this does urge us to look at our childhood and what we experienced in that space of innocence, it's really telling us to go back to the beginning. This is a story of creation, and we're doing it all over again. Now, hopefully, with the most presence and awareness. What does presence equal? Presence equals power. The more present we are through it, the more power we have, because the more of ourself we are embodying. And when we're embodying that true self, we are connected. We are the most connected to Source. Therefore, we have not just this illusory power of these fingers and these hands and these bodies, but we have real power, sustainable power, coming straight from the Source. And we need to most fully embody ourselves if we want to most fully manifest a temple or a space or an earth that is in reflection of this empowerment. All right, that's enough of that. So I'll show you what it looks like. Time to set ourselves free once and for all. Whoever is ready, even if you feel that calling really is a small voice inside of you, pull it out, let it be the thing that sets you free. Not everybody's going to be, on the leading edge of this, but there are those who must accept that responsibility and do it for one and all. Set ourselves free of the old program once and for all. Find the others who are as conscientious as us as far as this mission of rebuilding the new earth. using the inspiration that we are messengers of the new way. That helps us to let go of those people or things that are not helping us to manifest the new way. It's a responsibility that we have. Find the others. And it all is in the name of returning to innocence and giving and receiving, transmitting and receiving from that space. Also, how do we do that? That looks like archetypal energy, archetypal exchange. When we speak to one another from a place of the archetypes and understanding of the archetypal energy that's within all of us, it really helps us to not take things personally, to always do our best, to not make assumptions, to be impeccable with our words, right? This is the 4 agreements, and I'm using them just for the purpose of efficiently communicating right now. We could also look at the 10 commandments, but basically the virtues, the highest virtues, are naturally and organically embodied and demonstrated when we understand this archetypal story that we're all playing out. It helps us to not take things personally because man and woman begin to forgive each other for certain things that we understand are not really our story in this lifetime, but are the age-old story that we're trying right here, right now to complete once and for all, so we can move on to another one, so that we can write a new one. The New Testament. So it helps us to not take things personally when we realize, oh my gosh, it's not my story, it's our story that we're working to write an ending to, and then a new beginning. It helps us to be impeccable with our word because we understand we won't be able to write that new beginning if we don't align our words with our thoughts and our actions. It takes alignment to be able to do that. It helps us to not make assumptions when we can look to the truth of this archetypal story we're playing out and have all the answers revealed right there within us. We don't have to assume anything because the age-old story is written in the stars, which are within us. And it helps us to do our best. As a man or as a woman or as a member of this society, it helps us to do our best when we remember that archetypal story we're playing out. If we really want to get to this new beginning and stop playing over and over this time loop, being a part of this silly game where we're just running in circles or the Ouroboros chasing our tail, if we're ready to really evolve, then we must do our best. And it really helps to understand this archetypal story we are all playing out. It's not personal. It's not personal. It's not about you. It's about you, which is us as one. There's a lot of passion about that. Thank you guys for tuning in for this reading. If you have any questions about the High Holy Days that we're in right now, the Jewish High Holy Days, please feel free to ask me. I really do believe it's so important for everyone and anyone who is a seeker of truth to understand that there are kabbalistic keys to be extracted from the stories of each of these high holy days. And the one that is starting this evening is Sukkot. Sukkot. The rebuilding of our society, moving from egoism to altruism. I'm really blessed to live here in this beautiful space to be able to share with you all. I am so thrilled to be on this journey with you guys and to be building together, to once and for all be completing this story so that we can be the writers together of the new one. Thank you again for tuning in, you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow for the full moon reading. Shalom.